Why aren't truth channels telling the truth about Hurricane Irma? I hate to have to be the one to ask this question. I truly do. There are people I know, people I don't know, people I respect, people that I don't respect on YouTube with what are supposed to be truth channels. Why are they not telling the truth about Hurricane Irma? I don't understand it. Why are they taking the route of CNN and MSNBC and CBS, ABC? Why are they taking the route of the dominant mainstream media? Why are truth channels acting just like the mainstream media? Why are truth channels not telling the truth about Hurricane Irma? I'm going to ask it again. Why aren't truth channels telling the truth about Hurricane Irma? Is it because truth people don't want to hear the truth about Hurricane Irma? I hope that's not the case. Let me get to what I'm talking about. Let me get to what I want to get to. Let me get to what I want to ask you. Let me get to what I want to show you. Let me get to this stuff so we can talk about what we're here to talk about. Why aren't truth channels telling the truth about Hurricane Irma? And there's no excuse, in my opinion. Jeff, what are you talking about? Well, this is what I'm talking about right here. And it's going to be a short one. This is the world's most accurate weather model. Dadgummit. Here's what the church. Here's what the world's most accurate weather model predicts for Hurricane Irma. Hello, Tom McGinnis, Chris Monet, Jen Fisher. I can't tell who else is on right now. Sarah L., Recovering Soul. Why are the truth channels not telling the truth? Okay, this is from arstechnica.com. Ars Technica. Here's what the world's most accurate weather model predicts for Irma. Here is what the world's most accurate weather model predicts for Irma. Now, if I can find it, all these other truth channels can find it. If I can read this, all the other truth channels can read this. A potentially catastrophic hurricane will approach southern Florida this weekend. If you follow hurricane forecasting closely, and if you run a truth channel and you're talking about hurricanes, you should be following it closely. You know that in recent years, the European Center for Medium Range Weather Forecasts has been the best forecast model in the world based upon scores. Often the model produced by this intergovernmental organization of 34 nations generates the best forecast for hurricane tracks. In some cases, during Hurricane Harvey, it even exceeded the skill of human forecasters at the National Hurricane Center. For this reason, the European model now has an outsized influence on the forecasts for hurricanes around the world, including those in the Atlantic, and in particular, Hurricane Irma, which presently threatens the Caribbean, as well as the southeastern United States. How much influence? We'll take a look at this plot of a bunch of different models from Wednesday morning. Note the dark blue line on the left-hand side of the forecast tracks. That's the official track from the National Hurricane Center that was issued at 5 o'clock a.m. So this is the official hurricane track from the National Hurricane Center. This is the gloom and doom line. OMG, it's going to hit Miami. OMG, it's going to go in the Gulf. OMG, it's going to be horrific and terrible. This is the official track forecast from the National Hurricane Center. That's this one here. Straight up the gut of Florida. However, the European model has outperformed the National Hurricane Center on Harvey, and it has scored higher and has been rated as the best forecast model in the world based upon skill scores. If I can find this information, other truth channels can find this same information. But all I would hear about is solar flares and CMEs, and this is the worst. This is the horrible. All I hear is gloom and doom. Tuning into truth channels is like tuning into CNN. Tuning into truth channels is like tuning into MSNBC. Tuning into truth channels is like tuning into the mainstream media. Tuning into truth channels right now is like tuning into the fake news media. And I ask why. And I ask why I'm the only one that I've heard say what I'm about to say here. Why is the official forecast so far to the left when all the other models have moved east? Why is the official forecast so far to the left when all the other models have moved east? And they've moved east as we've been rebuking the storm. By the way, the answer is a European model. This forecast system has superior hardware to run its calculations, but more importantly, it has a method which better assimilates real world data. Observations from weather networks around the world, atmospheric surroundings, reconnaissance aircraft, and much more into its calculations. But yet, so-called truth channels keep talking about this line, when the European model's projecting this line. Why don't we hear more about this on the truth channels? All we're hearing about this. Is it because this gets more clicks? Is it because this gets more views? Is it because this gets more AdSense revenue? Or is this because you people are clamoring for the sensational, the spectacular, the doom and gloom? I'm sorry, I'm a little turned up. The US analog to the European model is called the GFS. It doesn't perform quite as well. The European model runs every 12 hours. It looks like the National Hurricane one comes out every 2:30 a.m. It runs on a lower resolution model an hour later. While the other forecast models this morning were suggesting that Irma now appeared more likely to remain off the east coast of Florida, let me say it again and ask you why I'm the only one saying it. Critically, while the other forecast models this morning were suggesting that Irma now appears more likely to remain off the east coast of Florida. Why aren't we hearing that? Why aren't we hearing that? Now, we can expect big changes, maybe. This is a technical discussion, but this is what is the summation of the ARS Technica. This is what this is the summation of the science department of ARS Technica. This is the summation. And why aren't we hearing this summation anywhere else? I ask you. Read this. Read this. We can confidently say from the modeling data that there is a reasonable chance, perhaps 50%, that Irma will turn north toward the Bahamas and move far enough east of Miami to avoid dangerous winds and storm surge. Effects would be bad, but not devastating for southern Florida. There is a 50% chance that Irma will turn north, move far enough east of the Miami area to avoid dangerous winds and storm damage. as we continue to speak this into being, I'm saying the chances get even better. But here's the question. If there is a 50% chance that Irma will turn north and move far enough east of Miami to avoid dangerous winds and surge, why do all we hear about is the pretty good chance that catastrophic winds are coming to one of the wealthiest, most well-developed coastlines of the country, stretching from Miami to West Palm Beach? If there's at least a 50% chance that this storm stays over the deep waters as we're instructing it to, why aren't we hearing it from any other truth channel? Why do all I hear is doom and gloom? Why do all I hear is worry? Why do all I hear is, OMG, we're all going to die? Why don't I hear any of this other news from any other truth channels? Tell me why. Why do we sound just like the mainstream media on this? Why do we sound just like the fake news on this? Why do we sound like a bunch of sensationalists? Why do we sound like a bunch of alarmists? Why do we sound like a bunch of Chicken Littles? I thought we're supposed to be different. I thought we're supposed to be better. I thought that we're here because the mainstream media doesn't do its job and we're here to do its job for it. Why do we sound like a bunch of polly-wanna cracker parrots on this? Let me read it to you one more time. There, we can confidently say from the modeling data that there is a reasonable chance, perhaps 50%. That's 50-50, cousin. That Irma will turn north toward the Bahamas, move far enough east of the Miami area to avoid dangerous winds and storm surge. Why haven't you heard anybody else say that? Why am I the only one saying that? It bothers me. But there's also a pretty good chance, and we're trumpeting it loud and clear, that catastrophic winds could be coming to one of the wealthiest, most developed coastlines of the country. I am saying that it's not going to make landfall because we're claiming it with the power that's given to us by the Christ, but that's beside the point. The point is, why is no one else saying this? Why aren't you hearing it anywhere else? We're supposed to be the truth movement. We're supposed to be the answer to the lying, fake news media. And we sound just like parrots of them on this subject. Why hasn't anyone else brought you an optimistic, hopeful discussion? It bothers me. It bothers me. I think we're better than that. It bothers me. I think we're better than that. I think we're better than that. Let's see what we got in the chat room. Wow. Solar flares, solar flares, solar flares. Okay, I haven't seen any fires, solar flares, fires and solar flares, fires, solar flares, and fires. And solar flares. Hurricane Irma is horrible. Solar flares, fires, solar flares, fires. And this is in my chat. I think some of them are looking for signs. Oh, good, we're going to talk about this now. Signs are big money. It's about how horrible the situation is. I don't remember hearing so much fear-mongering about Harvey, but then I don't have TV. Doom and gloom addiction is like an emotionally abusive codependent relationship. Hurricanes are rough. I've lived through one. We'll be all right. They're probably secretly hoping it hits Florida. Oh, I hope not. Jeff's addicting. Thank you. I'm telling you, there's a collective manifestation going on. How they can control the narrative. People have no excitement in their lives, so they're addicted to the doom and gloom. Turn straight up north and go back out and never return. Desensitized to the fear-mongering. Lee, you're right. Paid opposition. How do I get a little of that? Clickbait and fear-mongering is rampant on YouTube. Sometimes people only have the best of intentions. True. We need to keep rebuking this bitch. Yes, we do. They want us to be afraid. They want us to be very afraid. I just lost my track. Here we go. Don't give up your guns. Irma's winds have shape-shifted. Because some people won't advertise good news because it gets them no clicks, as in clickbait. Well, why can't we change that? Jeff does read the chat. Recovering soul, LOL. All right, there you go. There's enough people here to do the work with Irma to get it turned. We're seeing it done. We are changing it. So that's my rant. I just don't understand why. I'm a little bit disappointed in us as a movement. But remember this. Let me leave you with this one more time. And I wish this could go viral so we could actually get some good news out there. We can confidently say from the modeling data that there is a reasonable chance, perhaps 50%, that Irma will turn north towards the Bahamas and move far enough east of the Miami area to avoid dangerous winds and storm surge. One more time. We can confidently say from the modeling data that there is a reasonable chance. And we're not talking about Jim Carrey, so you're telling me there's a chance. No. Perhaps 50%, that Irma will turn north toward the Bahamas and move far enough east of Miami to avoid dangerous winds and storm surge. Let me now say in faith, let me now say with the power that Christ has placed in me, let me now say with the ability to do what the Christ did and with the ability to do even greater, let me confidently say that based on the modeling data, Irma will turn north towards the Bahamas and will move far enough east of the Miami area to avoid dangerous winds and storm surge. That's what I say in faith. What the scientific facts from the best modeling data says is there is perhaps a 50% chance that Irma will turn north towards the Bahamas and move far enough east of the Miami area to avoid dangerous winds and storm surge. That's what we're supposed to be doing. That's what we're supposed to be as the alternative truth media. We're supposed to be actually telling people good news. We're supposed to be actually bringing the real rest of the story news. That's what we're supposed to be doing. That's not what we are doing, but that's what we're supposed to be doing. There we go. I got lost there for a second. So there it is. I want to leave you with that good news. I want to leave you with that positive news. I want to leave you with that optimistic news. I want to leave you with a balanced view like truth channels are supposed to do. I'm Jeffrey Daugherty, your friendly neighborhood Christian whistleblower. This has been the gospel truth about Hurricane Irma. And we've asked the question, why are truth channels not telling the truth about Hurricane Irma? No more doom and gloom. In the fear, give me some balanced information here. Like, share, subscribe. If you think this is the way it's supposed to be, then help me make it the way it is. We'll see you next time. I salute those of you that are here seeking truth.